I think you're amazing.
You are too, Henry.
Thank you so much. Well, Perry, you are awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and I appreciate you, what you're doing too, buddy.
Well, thank you. Because if you allow the world to define you, if you allow friends to define you, if you allow your spouse to define you, or anybody to define you outside of how God sees you, that does open the door to rejection. God bless you. And I hope y'all have an amazing day.
Thank you, Brother Henry.
Thank you.
God bless you too. Thank you for having us.
Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. I hope your week is starting out on a great start. And I am so grateful that you've taken this opportunity to watch the show today. Today, I want to come and talk about a very complex subject. It's also a very controversial subject, but it's something that really needs to be discussed. And that is, are interracial relationships wrong? You maybe say, well, what does interracial? Interracial is where two races from different colors, it may be white, black, it may be Hispanic and black. You kind of get what I'm trying to say. That's what interracial relationships mean. And that's kind of what I want to come and discuss today, because this is an issue that is not just in America, even though it's strong here in America, but it's also an issue that's around the world. A lot of people hold to the ideology that interracial relationships shouldn't be happening, that they shouldn't exist, and that they are wrong. Why do they feel that way? And that's what I want to come and talk about today. I think ultimately, I believe that there is no such thing as an interracial relationship, as we are one human race. And that if you meet someone, whether that be black, white, blue, green, no matter what your color are, and if you fall in love, it's completely irrelevant to me that you're with someone that's not of the same race that you are. However, this is a issue among so many other people who just have an issue with it. I can't believe that he's with a white woman. I can't believe that she's dating a Japanese guy. I can't believe this, or I can't believe that. And why is this so taboo in our community and society today, where we now feel like that is wrong for someone to love who they choose to love, who they choose to do life with, who they choose to have children with? Why do you even have a say in it? So I believe that there are some disadvantages of entering a interracial relationship. And I've seen that happen a lot too. I've seen retaliation. I've seen excommunication where certain parts of the family didn't want to deal with that person because they ended up with someone of a different race or culture. But there was one person that said, uh, it is a bad idea. I don't know who said it, but this individual said it is a bad idea for mixed races. And while I don't know this individual, I would surely like to know where his heart is at. And I want to know what makes it a bad idea to love the person that you choose to love. How is it? I guess I'll say it this way. How is it affecting your money, your life, what somebody else is doing? I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. How is it affecting your life if I choose to marry a white, and I have. I've been married twice. Both of my wives were white Caucasian. I'm proud of that. My daughter came from my first marriage. She's biracial. She's black and white. I have no misgivings about it. I don't. Because that's what I like. That's what I'm attracted to. Now, a lot of times when I say things like, well, I'm attracted to white women, the first thing people say, well, what's wrong with black women? Now, watch this. What made you think that I think something's wrong with black women all because I prefer white? Anyway, it is what it is. But I have no misgivings about that. And so let's move right along. There's a difference between choice and preference. And I think that's what I'm leading up to. Choice is the ability to choose. Preference is more of a priority, a favor, a liking. That's pretty much what that is. Like, this is my favorite, this is my priority, this is what I really want. And I think that's exactly what it is. So if if one of my white friends came to me and said, let's say a white lady came to me and said, Henry, I like you, but I'm not into black guys. That is her choice and that is her preference. Now, that preference could be also connected to attractiveness because there are some people just that are just simply not attracted to the same race. I know black people that's more attracted to whites. I know whites that's more attracted to blacks. Also, I'll drop this bombshell in. I don't think there's anything wrong with a black man wanting to be with a black woman. I don't think there's anything wrong for a white man to be with a white woman. My problem is those that keep harping about it. And I just want to know where your heart is. Why is it such an issue with you? Why is it affecting you? Why do you think it's just so wrong for interracial relationships to exist? So if I find myself attracted to a white woman, that doesn't mean anything's wrong with a black woman. It just means I'm more attracted to a white woman. And that's just a reality. I've dated a few black women in my life, but at the same time, you know what you like. What did I say? What preference means? It's a liking, it's a favor, it's a priority. You know what you like, you know what you want. That is my choice. That is my life. So another question that arises is, um, does it make a person racist to say interracial relationships are wrong? I would have to say no. If you believe interracial relationships are wrong, I don't believe that makes you racist. However, I would sure like to know why you believe it's wrong. What are your reasons? And I have wrote down a few things why I think you may think that it's wrong. It could be culture. Sometimes it's just the family. If everybody ended up marrying, white and white, and then you finally have a white girl that ends up marrying a black person, it could be culture. They're like, we don't want to deal with you no more. Or they'll put a lot of shame and guilt on you. Number two, bias and discriminatory. They start to treat you differently. They don't treat you the same like and this is not just family, this can be society, it could be the workplace. Um, but thank God that there are laws set in place for discriminatory things. Everyone should be treated fairly, regardless of who you love or who you're with. Number three, religious beliefs. There are a lot of people, believe it or not, that believe that God did not intend for mixed races. Therefore, they believe that it is wrong. We're talking about the religious community. They believe that it's wrong for um, a black man to be with a black woman or a white woman to be with a black man. And they'll quote scriptures, about to justify why they believe what they believe. But a lot of it is just religiosity. But because of their religious beliefs, they tend to stick with the same race. Number four is damaging to the family's reputation. They feel like it'll make the family look bad. I actually had a friend tell me that somebody told her, and she's a white lady, who's with a black man, and she said that her father told her that you can't have babies with that black man. And she said, "Watch," and he said, "Well, it's going to really damage that child." I mean, listen to this. It's going to damage that child. That child's going to be confused because that child's going to be both white and black. And I believe that her father probably has some racist tendencies that's coming to the surface, or either that he just don't want to come out and talk about. It's generations. It's generational also. Because if you were raised to believe that interracial relationships are wrong, of course you're gonna frown on it. Of course you're gonna think it's wrong. Of course you're gonna believe that you shouldn't be doing this. But this is 2024, people. It's time to wake up. It's time not to be so concerned about who's marrying who and who's sleeping in whose bed. That's none of your business at the end of the day. Number five, narrow mindedness. Number six, and this is a real big one. I think racism has a lot to do with it. As you know, racism runs very deep in America. It still does. I don't think it's as bad as what it used to be, but it still runs very deep. I was thinking that, many years ago, before I was on the scene, probably before you were on the scene, there I don't there interracial relationships probably did exist, but if they did, you better sure hide it very well, or you would reap some repercussions that probably wouldn't be in your favor. You couldn't be a black man having an interest in a white girl. You couldn't wink your eye at her. You couldn't try to get her number. You couldn't try to date. You better not have made it obvious, or your butt will be in trouble. Go back and look at history. There was no such thing. Now, I believe it exists. It's just like gay people or the LGBT community. Back in the day, there were gay people, but they just wasn't as vocal. They just couldn't come out like they freely can today. So it exists, but you had to hide it. You had to be in the closet. You couldn't tell nobody about it. Thank God we're living in a time now where we don't have to do that. We are free to be ourselves, to live authentically, and just be who God's created us to be in the absence of what anybody say, feel, or think about you. Let them say what they want. Like I said, there are some disadvantages. You may go in public and you may be a black man holding a white girl's hand. They'll look, ugh. And I've gotten those looks too in the past from time to time where people look like, oh, he's with a white girl. Why does that bother you so much? Why? I'm not looking at you that way. So number seven is prejudice and assumptions. Sometimes it's connected to prejudice and assumptions. Interracial relationships, as I go to a close, are not wrong. I'm sorry you've been taught that in your church. I'm sorry your grandpa and your great grandpa and your great grandpa instilled that into you. Generations of family history where y'all just believe that we better all stick with the same, because that's not going to happen. You have a right to love who you want to love, be with who you want to be with, regardless of who approves of it and who doesn't. But at the end of the day, I don't believe interrelationships are wrong. And once again, if you're that type of person that harps on about, well, it's wrong, and you're getting very defensive and strongly emotional about it, I I would question. I wouldn't call you racist, but I would definitely question your motive. What's wrong with you? Why is your heart where it's at? Why does it bother you so much? Yeah, I would want to know that. Thank you for watching the show today. Do you think interracial relationships are wrong? Put it in the comment section. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. This is just dialogue because I want to hear your feedback. May God bless you. May God keep you. And make sure you connect with us on YouTube, Henry Harris 100, Facebook, The Brother Henry and You Show, and also Soul TV on Facebook.com We will see you next week right here for another episode of the Brother Henry and You Show. Well, Perry, you are awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, and I appreciate you what you're doing too, buddy.
Well, thank you. Because if you allow the world to define you, if you allow friends to define you, if you allow your spouse to define you, or anybody to define you outside of how God sees you, that does open the door to rejection. God bless you. I hope y'all have an amazing day.
Thank you, Brother Henry.
Thank you.
God bless you too. Thank you for having us.